Okay, I've already talked about the Devil May Cry Enterprise, and I did dig up a little bit on the internet to find what the movie's gonna be like, and I was pretty disappointed. I'm not disappointed as in it's bad, I'm disappointed in the fact that it's incomplete. The only resource I really had at my disposal, which I think is the best one I could find, was IGN.com. But then again, that is lucrative, because there's a certain instance online where they released where IGN.com Entertainment released a Zelda game, a Zelda trailer for a movie, and it was said to be released, April 1st, 2009, aka April Fools, 2009. Now and since that has already passed and no movie came out of that, I'm guessing either it was dropped or was a fake. So I'm being judgmental about what I'm trying to dig up. But what IGN.com wrote basically sounds like the basic plot for the first Devil May Cry game. Basically, Dante is hired to seal away a demonic prince. That's it. That's all I've seen so far. And as for the company, I forgot which one it is. I'll put it down on when I post the video, because I have to look it up again. I don't have it in my hand at the moment. But according to what has been conceived, it's going to be a live-action film. And this is okay, but it really depends on... I know that there have been instances where I did see actual actors and motion actors pulling off stuff based on Devil May Cry, but overall, the problem that I have with this is some of it was not done without actual animation. For instance, there was in the special edition of Devil May Cry 3, they did show a scene where Dante was launched back by Virgil, his twin brother, and he started shooting at him, but the bullets were heading towards Virgil. Virgil sweeps his katana around to scoop up the bullets, line them up on the ground, and then with a swift slash, shot them straight towards Dante, who uses his sword to cut them in half. That's a lot of words, but the effects were still done with computer animation when they tried to reenact that scene with actual Japanese actors. That's the problem with most movies, is how much of it is going to be live action and how much of it is going to be not live action or computer generated. So, and the thing is, computer generation is actually quite expensive. I have seen that Jurassic Park didn't do a lot of CG graphics, and it had less of a budget than BBC's Walking with Dinosaurs. I'm not saying that live action is impossible for Devil May Cry, but the biggest flaw is the concept. All people really want to do in Devil May Cry is to kill things, and to kill things very painfully. And if you're gonna make a movie out of that, you might as well forget it. Because there's a good example. Ang Lee made the film The Hulk, and Marvel made a Hulk movie afterwards, but there's a big difference between the two. Ang Lee focuses on one aspect of the Hulk, as in the imprisoned individual, whereas Marvel focused on the Hulk for one reason, that is breaking things, which is why people pretty much read the Hulk or watch the cartoons in the first place. So, when you're just going to focus on one or the other, it's not going to be very good. The other thing is that I should mention this, but Devil May Cry does have an anime series, or an anime miniseries. So I'm not saying that it's impossible for Devil May Cry to show up on the silver screen eventually. It could show up as an anime, or probably some kind of pre-rendered thing like Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. But if you want to see how good it is, how good Devil May Cry can be on the silver screen, I suggest watch the anime and see how well that will do it. I think the biggest flaw in a forthcoming film based on a video game is who's pulling the strings. If it's somebody besides the main company, which is, like, for example, if Advent Children was made, for instance, by somebody other than Square Enix, it'd probably be far worse than it actually is. Alright, I just want to bring this up. I did look up online the plot of I think a straight-to-DVD film, Devil May Cry Sins Remembered. And it was from Siliconera, so we'll just see how good of a resource it is. It's supposed to take place between Devil May Cry 3 and the first Devil May Cry. But all it just does is it shows the conflicts between Lady and as she's trying to look for her father, and Dante. But the thing is, there are some elements that doesn't make sense to me. For instance, Lady isn't looking for Arkham because she killed him. In the end, she killed him. And they also mentioned they wanted to show Trish as a little girl, but I don't know if that will work because Trish is supposed to be created by Mundus to look exactly like Dante's mother. Otherwise, I don't know what to say about it. I may have to look at it. But overall, this is what I've gathered so far, and I'll look up the next game to film.